The question is back this morning. Did COVID-19 spring from a lab in Wuhan? Joining us live now is the Dean of Global Futures and Political Analyst at Curtin University, otherwise known as my main man here on First Edition, Joe Siracusa. Good morning to you, Joe. So, yeah, the Energy Department has made something of a confession this morning. The Wall Street Journal is carrying this exclusive that there is a low possibility, it says, that COVID-19 came from a lab. I guess we'll never know for sure, but even though it's a low admission, it is an admission from the government, which was interesting.
Yeah, Pete, good morning. Look, I would bet dollars to donuts that the coronavirus pandemic began with a leak in Wuhan and the Wuhan lab. I'm sure of it. Some time ago, the Federal Bureau of Investigation issued their report. They said they had moderate confidence that it had leaked from the Wuhan facility, and the Department of Energy, which is also in charge of nuclear weapons, by the way, says that there is a low confidence, but confidence in it. So everyone agrees that it came from this lab. I'm sure it did. A long time ago, about 2.5 years ago, I was coming back from Germany via China, and I got this damn thing when I arrived in Victoria, and I know what. That whole plane, I was on an Air China plane, the whole plane was sick later on. So, I'm sure it came from a leak. The thing is, what can you do with a leak? Can you send people the bill? And of course, that makes the Australian demand about let's have an investigation look pretty good, as a matter of fact. It makes Dr. Fauci look pretty bad because he knew what was going on there, as a matter of fact. I'd say I have a very high confidence it came from that lab. And the other thing is, what can you do about it?
So do you reckon and I guess it's the other question of whether it was accidental or not. I think a lot of people just leaning on whether it was accidental, that it was accidental, I should say. But, I mean, that's debated. The whole wet market scenario, was that just a bit of propaganda that, a lot of folks ate up?
Well, there are a number of very legitimate scientists that argue that there was migration from, the animal kingdom to humans. That was looked at as a possibility. I suppose about 2 or 3% of the scientific community believes in that kind of thing in the animal-human transmission. But I believe more that it was probably an accident. I mean, when you start to get into these kinds of things, things go wrong very, very badly. And, 1.1 million Americans died. So, China's got a lot on their conscience right now. And of course, President Biden is pushing all the buttons against China right now. Pete, he's found out that domestically he's a lousy president. One quarter of Americans can't fill a script, and 60% of Americans live from check to check, and only 14% of Americans believe they're better off with Joe Biden now than they were 2 years ago. So what Biden has done is, and keep in mind, the president wears two hats, commander-in-chief and chief executive. As a chief executive, he's kind of a lousy president. But as commander-in-chief, he's got everybody like you and me and others on the edge of our chairs. What's going to happen next?
I'm just curious here, and this is probably a dumb question, but why would the Department of Energy have the details on Wuhan?
Oh, because the Department of Energy is connected to about 16 intelligence agencies in the United States that get about $86 billion a year, Pete. And they would have access to that because they're cabinet members.